I've heard so many things from Xavier and the football club over so long, as has so many Essendon Edmonton fans who are passionate about this club, who haven't seen a finals win for 15 years. They're all words until you can show it out there on the footy field, and 12 weeks has gone past and they've beaten Adelaide and Hawthorn. That is not on. If Dyson Heppell thinks that was appropriate at that time, you're 60 points down. Heppell goes, guys, we're not going down this track. We've been a disgrace, we've been bullied, we've been monstered. Yet they're letting Irving Mosquito tell a joke at halftime. Just shows how low the standards have got at that club. Too many Essendon people are sick and tired of the excuses and the reasons. Game plan, transition, injuries. It's just been for too long.
Yeah, Matthew Lloyd on Footy Classified on Monday night, and it was certainly a combination of anger and frustration in his voice there. And when you look at, and he mentioned the word transition, when you look at this, for example, never before, I don't think, has a football club seen a transition of this magnitude. When you've got the president, the coach, two of their top-class players, you've got one player returning home even before the season's over, and the leadership group is an absolute lottery. I mean, they're coming in, they're going out again, in and out, in and out. Now, if Matthew Lloyd was frustrated, well, Dean Wallace, who never took a backward step in his career, is absolutely seething. This is in the Herald Sun this morning. He says, and I quote, "The people who I still speak to at the club tell me it's a lifeless environment today. I'm on the outside now, but they're telling me it's lost its soul. If there was an Olympic Games for imposters in the AFL, Essendon would win gold, silver and bronze." Eddie?
Well, Mick Malthouse used to always say that if anyone started talking about retirement, you take them out, thank them and show them the door and move on as quickly as possible. So, look, the Bombers, as you said, Tony, the graphic said it all there, didn't it? They've been a club in transition. What I can tell you from my experience speaking to Paul Brasher, who is the new chairman coming in, and he has been playing a pretty big role in the last couple of weeks, stepping in now that Lindsay Tanner's just about finished his period where he took it from Paul Little and all the drug issues coming forward again. So Paul Brasher's in. He's been the vice president for a while. He's been a huge executive at PricewaterhouseCoopers. And from what I've seen of him in action already in AFL meetings, he's not going to be a shrinking violet. So the Bombers are actually going to take their place back at the AFL big table again. Probably they haven't really known what to do. They've been sort of repairing their club, if you like, behind the scenes. It's taken a long time to get through all that drug situation for them. And now maybe a couple of generations down the track, Paul Brasher can give the leadership there that Essendon looks like they need. And then the coaching situation, Ross, I'll defer to you on that. But with the leadership groups, you've got Fantasia was going back to Adelaide, then he was here, and then he was put into the leadership group, and Merritt, who won the best and fairest, was taken out because he was too hard, allegedly. So I would have thought that Lloydie would have thought that Merritt being harder rather than Mosquito telling jokes might have been the way to go by the sounds of things. But how do you read all that, Ross?
Yeah, from the outside, it's concerning for me. But Mick Malthouse wrote an article the other day, a really good article spoke about Richmond. If you're going to laugh, be consistent with it. When it gets urgent, don't lose the laughing. So it's hard to understand in that situation. And the members, they've been to hell and back at Essendon. They're looking for a bit more. And I commentated that game. And really to half-time, it had a bit of a smell about it, but they did fight back. I think Merritt out of the leadership group, he was the only one that really fought on the weekend. And players wanting to leave, I think there's players that you fight for your contract as a player. You go, well, you want what's best for you, no problem. But when they're making noises 12 months out, you're sitting next to them in the locker thinking, are you really in with this? Are you not in? And it all adds up to instability. That's what I think. But sometimes we can complicate it. Maybe the players aren't good enough. Maybe the conditioning staff's not good enough. And maybe the game plan isn't good enough. Sometimes we confuse it with leadership and everything else, but sometimes maybe the talent's not there. Or if the talent's not there, we're not getting the best out of them, or they're not available. So just boil it down to the simple buckets.
And Nath, just before you take us through some of the numbers there, Nath, I mean, we always like to G Lloydie up on this, and it drives all the Essendon fans mad, but it's now becoming a big internet sensation, how many days since they've won a final, which is now up to 5,849. So it'll tick over 6,000 days for the Bombers before they get to the finals next year. Now, that was a bit of a joke. But just like all jokes, they start to actually resonate with the supporters. And, I speak to a lot of the Essendon fans, and they're starting to really steam up.
What's that in years, Ed? 18 years?
It's 2004. Their last win was against Melbourne.
Yeah, decade and a half.
One thing I'm massive on in footy and playing in the midfield is being able to use the footy. And if you're not a great user, you need to be able to make good decisions with the football to put your teammates in a better position. Let's have a look at some of the kicking efficiency of some of their midfields and players who want to play in the midfield. Kyle Langford, obviously. Darcy Parish is down the bottom end. Devon Smith, who I rate as a pretty good kick, is only at 58. Dylan Shield and McGrath, who is one of the cleaner players you'll see. But by foot this year, they miss so many times and they miss opportunities. Here's some vision of missed opportunities. Dylan Shield, just give that handball. You're facing the wrong way. You turn around and just blast this footy back the other way and you kick it straight back. So you should be giving that one to Dyson Heppel there. Completely misses him. Option to run and carry. Now they win it back. This one here, again, Dylan Shield. Good clubs find Darcy Parish on the outside and then he's got space to run. Essendon continue to surge this ball and I don't think they're a surge side. They don't have tall players. Devon Smith, again, he gets blinded. He's a very good kicker of the football, but he gets blinded. There's other opportunities here for Devon Smith to see and he misses them time and time again, Devon. I rate him as a player though. Again here, if you're going to get this ball, this has got to be a goal. You're a good kick. You cannot, in AFL football, serve that sort of stuff up. Kyle Langford, another one who I rate. Goal kicking's really good. Field kicking at the moment. Decision making. I think he's a good kick, but I think his decision making at the moment is poor. And Sard, who I rate as a good kick as well. Again, decision making. Where are you going? 3-on-1. So the Bombers' kicking efficiency, they need to look at it. If they're going to compete with the big boys next year, because they're not going to play finals this year, they need to be a better skilled outfit.
Ross was talking about the membership and how the membership suffers on the back of what are essentially dismal years. The figures came out today. Now, the biggest increase is Gold Coast and Kilda West Coast. Now, we shouldn't be surprised because they've had, I wouldn't say breakout years at this point, but they're going all right, especially St Kilda. I mean, it's terrific, a record figure there. But the biggest decreases, Melbourne, Sydney Swans, Essendon. Now, the Sydney Swans, it is very much a results-based, membership-based, that particular one there. But Essendon, once you start looking at a massive drop like that, Eddie, that's when, as a board, you start looking right across the board, don't you, and find out, OK, we sort of know why it's happening, but how are we going to fix it?
Yeah, but I think you've got to say the Essendon fans have been unbelievable the way they've stuck through all the tough times. I mean, they could have nearly been obliterated with the fines and everything that happened, and the Bombers fans have really put their hand in their pocket and stuck. So we'll give them the benefit of the doubt of that. But yes, those figures are there. As I said, though, Tone, if there is a positive, Paul Brasher, as I mentioned, who's coming in as the president, he sort of reminds me a bit of the voice that Graham McMahon used to have at the president's table. And, he was a tremendous president of the Essendon Football Club. So, maybe it is the time now to get this year out of the way and really dig in and do all the things that Matthew Lloyd's been calling for and other players around the place. So, yep, it'll be a call to arm for the Bombers over the summer, no doubt about it. But, yeah, it's a long time, 2004, to be at it without that. As I said, those figures, they start off as a joke, but then people get sick of those jokes pretty quickly.